Giving game and knowledge, there could never be another. Now unwind, let's sip wine and confide in one another. Sex, Motherhood, and marijuana, love them like no other. They the ones that speak the truth from the party in the booth. And they so crazy, home my baby, have me laughing on the daily. They the only few I know that never ever tried to play me. I'm still using gems that they gave me with my lady. Home my baby, this is crazy. These beautiful ladies, always leave you smiling, never shaded. Moaning my root, we're going crazy in the booth. I gotta do it for them, they give love, I give it too. It's like this bitch is like that. MSN, they cross the map and they been breaking shit down them. I ain't never heard of that. Nigga, you ain't watched it. You how to touch a hella whack, and I'm only speaking facts. So sit back and roll a J and let them take the stress away.
It's true, they could take you out this world if they want it. Right. I trust my mom, I know that she will always get me potent. Right. Have I sold the flowers cause she deserves to smell them. And if you touch my mama the wrong way, I have to snuff them cause she still get down, let's be real, that's why I'm here. And if no one will have your best interest, she come with care. And we got two with cotton roots, so got a chair. I let them know they're smoking as a flavor to your ear. This for the mothers, this for the mothers. This for the mothers of sex and marijuana. This for the mothers, this for the mothers. This for the mothers of sex and marijuana.
Yeah. It's for the mothers of sex and marijuana, all of that shit. Child, I'm high. Don't excuse me. Excuse me. What is up, everybody? Motherhood, sex, marijuana, and a motherfucking building. You know what I'm saying? What's good with you, Queen? How you feeling?
How you feeling? Feeling amazing, feeling toasty, feeling ready to converse, to laugh, to share, and to definitely learn something today. We have a wonderful guest, and so we're gonna introduce her later. But Queen, I want to see how you're doing and see.
I'm doing very well. You know what I'm saying? I am definitely feeling good. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of things going on in my circle. You know what I mean? Husband's birthday is on Tuesday. Your birthday's coming up. You know what I'm saying? So big up to the motherfucking Geminis in my life, you know what I'm saying? And my child is going to be honored on Wednesday for her work in STEP team. So we loving that. And yes, just what the fuck is that? Bitch, that's my smoke alarm. Bitch. Oh my God. Hold on. That Warlord. Go ahead and run the commercial, yo. Oh my. All right, Kai Storm in the building, Motherhood, Sex, Marijuana in the building, Motherhood, Sex, Marijuana, Rolling Papers in the building. Currently located at Rustic Smokes here in the Brook of the Lynn. You can come and get your... Really? Absolutely, yeah. Motherhood, Sex, Marijuana, Rolling Papers right here. As you can see, we got... hemp papers, we got colorful tips, and we got a crushing area. Yes, get yours now.
You know what's so funny? Me and the other girl work here.
And I came in here, and then I came back and talked to Franz. So it was like those are the only 2 times I met her. So. Child.
Hey, no judgment.
Oh, yes, hey, listen. The sensitivity of the fuckery make you want to say, so what I gotta do? Open a window in this bitch? I gotta open a window in this bitch. No, because you're right though.
That are working. Yes, indeed.
You know what I'm saying? You're right though. But I'm gonna light my shit though, bitch. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna light up my shit. Fuck you and fuck whatever you devil brought you. No, fuck you and whatever devil brought you. You know what I'm saying? Because the brightness. No, because next time it not gonna do it again still. But if it do it again, me I go open the window. Cause it bright up. But yes, without further ado, yes, let's talk about our beautiful and honored guest that we about to bring on. Is Miss Molly Rose in the building. She is a Cannabis Nurse. She has her own podcast. She is definitely cannabis friendly, medical, medical
Professional
marijuana friendly, a professional, and
mother,
is yes, and
educator.
she is also riding the wave of new creativity in the cannabis world. Yes,
You're
indeed.
healing.
Girl, what's
Yes.
good with you? How
Welcome,
you
welcome.
doing?
Hey,
Welcome to Motherhood
wow.
Sex
Thank
Marijuana.
you.
Yes,
Wow. Thank you,
yes,
ladies,
yes.
so much. What a beautiful welcoming. I really appreciate you, Kai and Ruby. It's amazing to be here. Thank you for
Of
having me on your show.
course.
You're so welcome. Thank you for making
Yeah,
time as well.
of course.
We we talked a little bit backstage.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say too much, but I did want to say shout out to Ashley. Ashley, do you want to give that shout out, Queen? Go ahead.
Man, Ashley Wynn Grimes, thank you so much. You were the person that ushered me into cannabis nursing. I wouldn't be here without you. I used your educational platform to really acclimate myself to cannabis and really get my start. I think we met at the ACNA conference a couple years back in Denver. So that was a really great experience. And then to be able to get into your educational program and to join your group, where we talked a lot about spirituality and like always honored cannabis as a sacred plant medicine and knowing that, it's a tool for us to use. It's, not a panacea. It's not the cure all yet, anyway, that we know, right? But it's definitely a tool that we can use to access the deeper parts of ourselves that maybe don't always come to the forefront because of, our jobs or our own biases about cannabis that we have to also overcome, for myself. So thank you, Ashley. I love you so much for that.
That's right.
And I appreciate you.
Beautiful. It's
Yeah,
important to give people their flowers. I think
100%.
it's especially while you are living, just to
Yeah,
because of the mere point of it. But I do want to also thank Ashley because she dropped some very big gems upon here. And so
okay.
she's such a queen and she has
Yes, she
great
is.
insight and she's just so
She does.
generous.
Yeah.
And
She's
so I
really
think that's
she's really
so.
done a lot in the space, I think, too, as far as making sure that BIPOC people are honored with cannabis and that there's restorative justice and like bringing forward those voices and really honoring also not just nurses, but like people that educate themselves to a level that's like higher than just what you would expect from a normal bud tender. There's people in her group that don't have a medical background, but like they know cannabis back and forth, and they're going to be able to recommend a product to someone that is, has a specific issue or a specific symptom that they want to treat. So for me, like that's what counts. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Thank you for your work in the
yeah.
field. Welcome back, Queen Kai.
Hey,
Yes.
there she
Yes, I
is.
had to make sure because I figured, fuck it, might as well. But before I wait for this bitch to call itself being loud again, I'm gonna go ahead and open the window. Cause what the hell? You will not embarrass me,
She
bitch.
had to
Proactive
You will
she
not
had to
nurses.
embarrass me.
exercise
I've
those
been thinking.
demons.
Yeah.
The hell? Get out of here. Get out of
No.
here. But
I
yes,
love
girl,
it.
I
Molly
am.
was giving Ashley her flowers. It was a
Yes.
beautiful, we were
No,
just
I
talking about.
definitely was
Oh,
listening to
okay.
everything, and I'm
Awesome.
glad.
Yeah.
Wait, you see this? You see what the fuck she did? You see this? This is some fuck
Man.
shit. Not again. Not
I didn't
again.
see
You
to take the batteries out. No, I'm just kidding. Molly, so you mentioned that you have adult children. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
I
Okay,
do. Yeah.
cool. And you also talked about something so cool that I love hearing, that you're your kid's friend at this point, because there's
Yes.
always this back and forth. Oh, you don't want to be your kid's friend, and you want to,
Oh,
why not? And so my thing is, I do want to be. I want my children once they're of age, grown, to doing their own thing. I still want them to
yeah.
call me. I still want them to keep in
Yes.
touch, but I don't necessarily need you to need me. And I think that
Yeah.
I've done my part as a parent. There's a space where there's so much trust in oneself, what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So that's something that I personally had to develop later in life, but nonetheless,
Yeah.
it's very important. So
It is.
is, aside from being your children's friend right now, what in some ways have you had to be like the bad guy, and how has it benefited your relationship in that way?
I think you still, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily that you have to be the bad guy, but you have to sometimes be the voice of reason. And sometimes you still got to check them, right? Like
The
I can tell,
disciplinary. Maybe I used the
yeah,
wrong word.
yeah,
The
no. No, that's a fine word. I think bad guy is okay too. But you know, you still have to be able to be like, hey, I see this pattern that you have, and I know that that pattern doesn't usually lead to good outcomes. So let's talk this through. You know, like specifically with my son, and I hope he doesn't mind me being candid about what was happening, but I think there was a time when he was kind of like using alcohol too much, right? And so I'm like, hey, let's talk it through. If you continue down this path, I mean, you've already had A, B, C, D consequence. What do you think is going to happen? Versus if you dial it back some and go down this other road, you know, what do you see as those outcomes? And so you don't always have to be like, you should do blah, 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 blah. You just help them to like realize, and you do this when they're younger too, like you make this choice, you get these consequences, you make this choice, you get these consequences, right? And so you just have to remind them that, you know, they have a choice always, and you know, one road leads to one place and the other road leads to another. So helping them kind of like work through that stuff, and instead of, you know, like I said, just being like, you should do blah 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 blah, like, you know, the you shoulds kind of, that's, nobody wants to hear that, right? Nope, people don't listen. They turn it off.
I feel like this when it comes to kids. Once they grow up, they make their own decisions, and if you and if you lead by certain example, you know what I'm saying, it still, you know, comes, the lesson that you're giving off still comes off. Like for me, my oldest child smokes just like I do. Like she's a whole chimney just like I am. You know what I mean? And it was like literally, you know, like almost prophesized that she was going to be a pothead, because there was a situation when she was like, you know, like 6 years old or something, and you know, and I was sitting in my small apartment, and I was with my friends, and we were all smoking, and as soon as somebody said pass that blunt, my child picked up the whole fucking half an ounce and was like, y'all talk about this? And everybody looked at her like, girl, nobody talking to you.
Right.
You ain't even no, just because. No, first of all, nobody talking to you. Second of all, put that down. Put that down. Why are you touching it? Put it down.
Yeah,
that's
wild. One of my core memories is like, I can remember my mom being like, Molly, go get my bong. And so I would like go to the little cupboard and like open it up and like bring her bong, you know, but I didn't know what it was. But
it's wonderful.
But I mean, definitely, and I think sometimes what you were saying, Kai, like we do lead by example, and I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't always have the best history with alcohol, so I maybe didn't demonstrate a good pattern with alcohol, and I had to acknowledge that during that talk with him too, you know, like, hey, I know I haven't been the best at it, but I want you to do better than me, you know, so like, let's cut it off right now. So.
And see, that's another thing too that we've also discussed on this podcast, where, you know, as you have grown children, the experience and the conversation of having a real conversation with, you know, based on whatever happened in the past between the two of you actually comes out, because after all, they're grown enough. They're grown at that point, so they'll give it to you like it is. Exactly. And then, you know what I'm saying? And at that point, you know what I'm saying, if it's something that you really did wrong, where you really stepped out of character, or where you really shouldn't have did something, you got to say, oh yeah, you're right, you know. Like,
they'll pull your card too.
You know what I mean? Like,
them, they'll be like, oh yeah, remember mom?
Like, not for nothing, you right. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I don't have an excuse for it, because, you know what I mean, it is what it is. But yes, I acknowledge what I did, and you know what I'm saying, and as a grown person, I recognize that clearly it affected you enough that you would bring it to me as a grown person.
That's great. And you know what? I was talking to a friend about this. It's also okay to plant seeds because there's things that I remember back when I was in my 20s that are helping me now at 40 too because I understand it now. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna be a knucklehead. You're gonna have to make mistakes. My
Definitely.
sister said to me verbatim, at times I felt like it's watching you get hit by a bus and there's nothing that I can do. You got to get and something stopping me. It's like a bad dream. And it's absolutely what it is. And especially when you're talking about addiction. I used to be addicted to something I think that's worse than alcohol, but who's to say what's worse than what?
Right.
Alcohol is a horrible disease and it's
Yeah.
not, it's glorified out here. You know, it's
Right.
glorified in many places. And so you got this poison that people are drinking like la di da that's literally fucking killing you while
Right.
you're what's it called, incriminating people for healing themselves with the plant. And so it's like make it make sense for me. And
Right.
even though it's a story, like I feel like I'm in a dream, like wait, what the fuck's happening? Why stop?
Right.
Let's
Right.
go. Are we just gonna keep it? And so I personally, dude, I used to be addicted to alcohol too, but I thought it was stupid. It's fucking
Yeah.
stupid to have that shit. It never gave me anything. And I was also addicted to drugs. And the reason why I was is because I wanted to fucking die. And so it was linked to my mental health. So I don't think the question always is, hey, you're doing too much drinking. I'm noticing this. Even though those are valid points, it's like maybe there isn't a question. Maybe
Sure.
it's like, hey, I love you. Whatever the fuck you're going through, whatever demons and devils you're having to see that I can't see, I'm gonna be here and touch and right by your side when you need me. Call me, and that I
Okay.
think is gonna help an addict more than anything.
Yeah. People need that space where it's like
Absolutely.
non-judgmental. And I think a lot of times, in addiction, that's the really hard part is that people will burn their bridges, and then they eventually have like no one that they can go to that will trust, to not get
Mm-hmm.
burned by them, so that's really hard. And you're right.
It's
And
definitely hard. It's
yeah, it
definitely
is.
hard to find somebody that'll stick by you through thick and thin. So, but I want to talk about how how you began your journey because you know what I mean. Because definitely with each cannabis nurse we've talked to, we've definitely what I'm saying. We've definitely dived into what was their what I'm saying, what was their thought process and how it was
Yeah.
and how was it approached and how was it received, especially by what I'm saying, your peers or
Yeah.
anybody around you.
Yeah. I think I hear this a lot, like over and over again. Like people are like, well, it was during COVID. And for me, it really was. I have used cannabis like sporadically throughout my life. I think I first smoked cannabis when I was like 12 or 13 with like this boy that I was just crazy about in sixth grade. But like my husband was an everyday smoker, and so I was like, well, one of us has to be sober. Like, what if the kid's got to go to the emergency room, or like, what about teacher conferences and shit like that? So I smoke like every once in a while, like at parties or like on Mother's Day, stuff like that. And for me, it was always really like I would get a really paranoid feeling, and I still do sometimes, depending on what strain I'm smoking.
Okay.
So it wasn't like always like something that I had to do. But then during COVID, I was like dating this hustler, and I was like, man, it is so hard to go to the hospital because I'm still a bedside nurse. And I was like, I don't know if I can keep this up. Like it's difficult, seeing people go through this, and then the things we were going through as healthcare workers. I mean, they were like making us staple our masks when our masks would break. Like there just wasn't enough resources, and it was a really tough
Mm.
time. And he's like, well, have you ever thought about making your own edibles? And I was like, no, I haven't. And he was like, well, I'll tell you what. He's like, you do some research, go watch some YouTube videos. He's like, learn how to do it. I'll give you all my shake. It was like 6 ounces of shake. And I was like, okay. So I did it. And for me, that's when cannabis hit because I was at finally like at a low enough dose. So if I could like almost microdose cannabis, then I felt good. I felt comfortable. I didn't have that, unpleasant experience of feeling paranoid or feeling anxious, or, you know, feeling like I couldn't compute in my mind, you know, or like function as a just a regular adult. So it was for me finding what I needed, and then really just like, okay, well, wow, this is incredible. Like I have my life back now, you know. So I used it a lot for like mental health, I think, and still do, I think. It allows my body to relax, and just enough that I can like let those guards down. And for me, you know, when I hear people say like, oh, it's a gateway drug, I'm like, yeah, it's a gateway drug to wellness. And for me, it was a gateway to other substances, like other plant medicines. So like psilocybins, like that's the combination of cannabis and psilocybin for me has been a game changer. Like I've been someone that struggled with like clinical depression all my life, and like those are the two things that help me, you know. Those are the two things that help me the most. Like I've never taken SSRIs and don't really want to, but these are the things that allow me to like get out of bed some days, or like cycle out of a depression cycle if I'm in one. So, you know, I think a lot of times people are like, oh, cannabis? Like, I don't know. But then other people are like, yes, bring it on. Like, what do you got? You know, they were interested in the edibles, they were interested in flower, like, and a lot of my peers, you know. But then I noticed that a lot of like the clinicians, so like the doctors or the PAs or the NPs, when I would work with them and I'd be like, wow, that patient could really benefit from cannabis, they would just kind of like give me this side eye look, and they still do it, you know, but I don't care. I'm like, yeah,
Of course.
you know, like, yes, they could benefit from cannabis, and here's why, you know. And always reminding them too, like, you know, your patients are already using cannabis, so don't you want them to be able to come to you and have an honest conversation so that you can know what you're dealing with, and like really give them a plan that fits with what they want and need, like the thing that helps them. So, you know, I'm always like at every level trying to educate. That's like my new thing. I want to educate the patient, the clinicians, and the system, so that the systems will support that work, you know?
Yes, because
So,
at the end of the day, when you come to your doctor, or what I'm saying, you're talking to anybody about your health period, you should be able to be honest with them. You should be
100%.
able to say, yes, I enjoy marijuana. I smoke marijuana on a regular basis. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you should, you know what I mean? And therefore it shouldn't, and it absolutely shouldn't be written into your chart as like, you're
100%.
addicted to something like, Percocet, or even something worse, like, you know what
Exactly.
I mean? So it should be treated as a medicine, and
100%.
even if it's not, if you're not intaking it for medicine, for medicinal purposes, the fact that you're intaking it should not be written and as you in your chart as a negative. So
Yeah.
so telling your nurse, telling your doctor, that should be something that's absolutely accepted. Like, matter of fact, it should be to the point where these jobs, I mean, there a lot of them aren't getting there yet, but a lot of them have gotten to the point where, even the ones that want a drug test, they literally just say, okay, we'll drug test you, but we're excluding marijuana. Hello, exclude marijuana, because that's none of your motherfucking business. Like, in all intents and purposes, that's really none of your business. But you know what I'm saying, a lot of them haven't caught up yet, you know what I mean? And so that also leads to my next question with you, like, you know what I'm saying, because of course, like you said, when you bring it up to, certain other colleagues, of course they're giving you that shun look, but it's like, where exactly is it accepted for you? Like, are you able to practice your medicine? I mean, practice your aesthetic, and have patients that you talk to on a regular basis?
Yeah, I'm not a consultant, so like in my state, we can't suggest specific products, which makes sense, right? Because we don't want bad actors out here that are suggesting like, a cannabis product that's just, maybe it's not good. Maybe it's not good for people.
Right.
So that's healthy, I think. So what we can do is we can do guidance. We can teach them about their endocannabinoid system and how to support it naturally. And
because
then
a lot of people don't know about them.
Yeah, right. And then we can also teach them about the different cannabinoids and what cannabinoids might fit with the symptoms that they're trying to relieve. So we kind of guide them down that journey. And then what I think is really important piece of that is teaching people how to journal through their consumption use.
Facts.
So like I got this product, it has this in it. I took it at this time. It took this long to hit. It lasted this long. And then afterwards I felt ABCDB. And like teaching them how to journal through that process, because you're always wanting to like help people develop a healthy relationship with cannabis, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think most people don't understand. And speaking to the testing part, it doesn't matter if you're using a product that has THC in it or CBD, you're still going to test positive for cannabis, because the test doesn't differentiate whether you're using a product that will impair you or one that has no euphoric properties in it. So the testing to me is bullshit. That needs to go away. Like that don't even make sense. And all this like roadside testing and stuff, heck no, forget about it. That stuff does not work. It does not work.
Well, because it's capitalism. That's why it doesn't make sense to us.
And I understand the want to like have harm reduction and to make sure that people are, consuming responsibly and that they're not impaired, but just consuming doesn't equal impairment. And I think that is a point that needs to be driven home often. Yeah, right. So
especially that, because at the end of the day, there's some of us that are responsible, that will be responsible enough to consume after work, definitely not during work or before work, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you know what I mean? Some people will do before work, but then you got to work through the process of getting the smell off and not looking a certain type of way and all of that, especially if you work around certain brown nosing motherfuckers that will definitely be all up in your face like, why do you look so happy, bitch? Because get the fuck out of my face. Exactly. I am happy. You would like me to be happy, bitch. Shut up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Molly, speaking of happy, it's so beautiful to see you radiate joy, speaking your truth. I feel you as a person, and I know that you mean well. You have really good intentions, and that is important. Also, I'm getting this feeling that you're hella freaky. So I'm going to just say this. Let's say that I was to go hack into your computer, which I can't do, but let's say I could. And I was to go to porn
and you
search.
shouldn't.
Because
that's illegal.
What would I find in your porn search that would surprise somebody that doesn't really know you? I mean, that knows you. I'm sorry, that's a broad. But yeah, what would surprise somebody?
Oh my gosh, this is very on the spot. So let's see. I definitely like group settings, so I'll say that. That's appealing to me. And I've always had kind of a curiosity, and I've always had kind of a curiosity about women. So there's that too. But yeah, just a little tidbit about me. My husband is black, or was. My ex-husband is black. And I've never been with a white man. So, I don't know. Yeah.
Now see, that's where the people say that once you go black, it's just like, what happened? No, I don't know what that is over there. What is that?
Yeah.
No, excuse me. What is that? No.
There's something about older women that's really turning me on, and I think it's like. But you have to be mature. And I shared this with my bud tender. Shout out to the bud tender over there at Grand Central. Homegirl. I was saying it's like well-seasoned meat. Like this meat is so juicy. It's so delicious. It's well sanitized because this person cares to do that. They know better. They should. And I think there's a certain type of comfortability that one
Yeah.
might have as time progresses if they're doing shit right, right? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just feel like, and what I mean is in your mind, as I'm not talking
Yeah.
about no fucking other bullshit. So what I'm
Yeah.
sensing here is a very sensual person who has been clearly withholding some passion, some inbrittle passion there. And I actually have a fascination for group sex too and a bunch of other shit, but it's not about me right now. It's about you. So
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
married
Yeah.
to this guy.
Yeah.
Would you say that you have a type then?
I have a type. I have a
Okay.
type. Yeah. Yeah. I have a type.
I don't want to
You know,
assume.
no. I want to say one thing about like where I am in my life as far as like sexuality. I'm 51. And I just recently started having pretty significant symptoms of menopause where I was getting like palpitations and like real bad anxiety. And I could feel like my depression was really kind of kicking up again and starting to get a little bit scary sometimes. And I went to my doctor and I was like, I need HRTs. I need hormone replacement therapy like yesterday. And she was like reluctant to start me or whatever. And I'm like, why? Like, so she made me go through all these paces and like before I could get started on them. And I have the meds now, but I haven't started them yet. But as a younger woman, I was very freaky and very sensual, and sex was like really high on my list of priorities. And like, I'd say like in the last probably like 5 years, that's really tapered off, and it started to scare me quite a bit. I was like, you know, left another relationship. I've only had like 2 relationships in my whole life. I had my husband, who was my high school sweetheart, right? And then I had this other guy afterwards. And after the second guy, I like got on the apps and stuff, and I would put on there right away. I was like, sex is like 5th on my list of priorities here. Like, we got to be able to build together. We got to make some money together. We got to, be able to communicate. Like, sex is down there, And then I was like, maybe I'm like turning people off. I don't know, but like that's really how I felt. And so that kind of got scary for me for a little while. Like, I love that part of myself and being sensual and like expressing myself through intimacy, and and it became this thing where it wasn't so much about like this, but it was like, let's cuddle and like let's open up ourselves and be vulnerable and let's give massages to each other. And so it like shifted into this other area versus just like the pure raw sex of it. But like, I need that back. I need that back.
I'm glad you mentioned that. My sister's going through something similar in her body.
Child, I was getting ready to say hello. That sounds like a lot like my life, because there's times when I could just literally go days where it's like it's okay, and it's like, you know what I mean. If he's sleepy and I'm sleepy, we sleepy together, so it ain't an issue. But but then it happens, and then it's like, when it happens, it's definitely a workup and a sensual type of thing, because it's like, well, because it's not instant anymore. It's not you know what I mean. It doesn't need to be instant. It needs to be a process that we all into it, so that we build up, and then once we get to that point, we all at the same time type of thing. You feel me? But I mean, but literally, your body kind of shuts off sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And then there's sometimes your body is turned on, and it could just be just for no reason. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just basically you just sitting around chilling, and if and again, the point of, if that person is not around, what you gonna do? Wait till that person come around? No. You got to handle that biz naive. Like motherfucking the fuck out of here. Your hands work very well, motherfucking well. If you got a toy, work it out. But if you but your hands are very beautiful. They damn sure know the spots to hit and make sure it hit them well. So you know what I mean? I mean, and so it kind of comes and goes. It definitely comes and goes at this age, and it's like, and I don't look at it as scary. I look at it as shit. I'm getting older. Like, what the fuck? We getting
Yeah.
older. What you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
But you
Back in the
that
days
takes time
when,
to
we could
release.
do, 2-3 times a night. There's times when we do one and we going to bed. Like, see you in the morning. The
Yeah.
fuck?
So,
See you in the
and
morning.
sometimes it's instead of clitoral, it's mental stimulation. It's
Sure.
intimacy. I think that's what I'm craving too, more than anything, is
Yeah.
intimacy. Because you're right. When you've pretty much done what you like to do, there's really nothing that impresses you other than general kindness and uh just good energy. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and I
Yeah,
think there's a natural, like, when, like, you guys have some younger kids. So I think, when you're going through that time when you're like working and you're like, you're on this struggle, you and your
Mm-hmm.
partner, you're working, you got kids, they got to go here, they got to do this, somebody's got to cook, someone's got to do the laundry, like, so you might get into those cycles where you're just like, yeah, I'm too tired. But like when
yeah.
I say scary, like I always imagine myself like having a rich, full sex life, like into my 70s, and I'm like, I'm gonna be 51. Like I should be getting it
But no,
in
but that's the
still.
thing. They come in waves. Someone has even
Yeah.
said on here, shout out to Amethyst Goddess, where she said in her 60s, she feels like she's in her 20s again. Because what you want in
Mm-hmm.
your 50s is not the same thing you're going to want in your 60s, perhaps.
Definitely.
And it's kind of
Exactly.
history kind of repeats. So it's like, don't give up on it yet. The clit never dies, okay? But
Yeah.
it's also okay to honor your body. And even,
Mm.
and I don't know, I haven't been diagnosed with it, but I've been like, um, I'm I'm coming to accept that I'm going to be going through premenopause and
Mhm.
menopause and all of those things, and so I don't know. I kind of think
Yeah.
about. I don't really think about it,
Hmm.
but I've been showing signs of like premenopausal stuff. But I'm trying to
Yeah.
just ride it out. Like it's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I
a
mean,
normal
that's
process.
all you can do, Queen.
Hmm.
That's literally all you can do. Ride it
Just
out
don't
and
feel
just,
bad.
saying, and deal with whatever it comes with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I happily welcome it because it's like at the end of the day, what I mean, the outside don't give 54. Don't give almost 54. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I look at that. And then at the same time, I definitely do what I can to take care of myself. I go to the doctor. I listen to her. You know what I mean? I don't listen to everything because she trying to get me to go to the gym, and I ain't fucking with nobody's gym. Fuck that. I will walk past the gym 3 and 5 times, never go in that place for who, for what? No. But at the end of the day, most of what she's saying, I do listen to. I take care of myself. I definitely am eating right, and you know what I mean.
Hmm.
And
You're welcome.
and again, I'm with someone that is also in the same age range as me, so therefore it's not like it's a young person that I gotta that's what I entertain that I gotta entertain, nor is it somebody that is always in my face. No, 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 chill
Yeah.
out. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, everybody's got duties and things, and sometimes people meet at the bed and decide that cuddling till we both go to sleep is just as good as
Yeah.
getting a nut off. Just as fucking
It's
good
true.
sometimes.
It's true. It's
Literally.
one of the things I want to just say to people though is I just want to encourage them to advocate for themselves just as they would with cannabis, right? To go to
Word.
your doctor and be like, "Hey, I'm having these symptoms and like this doesn't feel right to me." Like that's because that's how I felt. I was like, there is something going on and I don't know what it is, but we need to get to the heart of it. So, we did the
Sure.
cardiac workup because I was like having palpitations and I have anemia, so sometimes I get those when my iron's really low. And so, like we went through all the paces and did all the steps, but just like to know that you don't have to live in this state. Like there's options out there for you, but you do have to know how to advocate for yourself. And like one of the things, and I hate to have to like pull this card, but I tell people with this with cannabis too. Hey, listen, I've asked you for, to your provider, I've asked you for ABCD because I'm having, this, that, and the third symptom. And you have denied me what I'm asking for. And I'd like you to document that in my chart. And I can tell you that they're usually going to like turn their minds around pretty quickly.
Beautiful.
So
get it.
we
Now
know
that's some
ourselves
good ass
best.
advice.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
We know ourselves best, and I think, if you've done your research and you've gone through all the things, or you've talked to, 5 of your girlfriends are like, hell yeah, I had that too, and they're not, your provider's not listening to you. If you keep hitting a brick wall, say that, and if you're still continuing to hit a brick wall, get you a new provider immediately. Get a new one, because that is a dead end. And make sure that you are asking them to document it, and usually that's enough. Usually that's enough.
Especially if they keep wanting to push, certain pharmaceuticals on you, because we all know that that a good amount, if not all, of these providers have a tendency to get, a certain percentage or something, some kind of kudos, some kind of extra percent, this and that, whatever, based on whatever drug they're pushing towards you. So what I'm saying, and it's funny when you literally tell them no, because I do remember a situation where it was like I had a tooth pulled, and the doctor was insisting on giving me this prescription to Oxy, and I looked at him and was like, nah, I'm not taking that. So you might as well take that prescription back. And he was like, no, you should take it just in case. And I was just like, bruh, you must don't hear too well. I just told you that I'm not taking this. Like, this is not going to make it to my pharmacy to get filled. Like, I don't want this. Because whatever the fuck is in Oxy, I don't ever want to find out what it will do inside of my system. Like, I heard stories, I'm good on this. And I'm telling him this, and he's just like, okay, well, I'm going to write this prescription anyway. Here you go. And I looked at him and was like, you know what? Okay, cool. I hear you. I'm just going to throw it away as soon as I walk out the door. Like, literally, because he wasn't listening to me. You know what I'm saying? He really wasn't listening to me. And that's the kind of thing that, you might bump into when, you're talking to your provider and you literally telling them, like, you gave me something that doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? Or you trying to give me something that I know for a fact is going to do something to me that I don't want it to do. Like, no, thank you. You just doing on some, just take it anyway type of bullshit.
Yeah, I'm a bedside nurse. I work in an emergency department, and I always try to educate people. Like, these are the options, because when the doctor comes in, I think people don't know that they're actually the center of the healthcare team. The patient is the center of the healthcare team. At the end of the day, the doctor's going to go home and he's going to do what he does for his health, but the patient is still going to be left with, a diagnosis or a set of symptoms or whatever that is. And like, they're the heart of it, right? So they should be the big decider. So that's the doctor's job to come in and be like, hey, this is what we see from the testing. This is what we recommend typically, and then the patient doesn't always know to be like, well, what else are what are the other options? Or what if I don't do this? What could happen? Or, so they just don't always know to ask those questions. And I think specifically to BIPOC people, I think there's already a distrust of healthcare workers, of the healthcare system, like, rightfully so, right? I think there's well documented that BIPOC people have not been treated right within the healthcare system. So like, we have so many things to get through, and I think I just want to always encourage people to be like, you're the main character here. Okay. I'm going to tell you what the side effects are of the medication, and then ultimately you have to decide, is that something that you want to do, or do you have another option? Like, what's worked well for you? I think we don't ask that enough. I think the healthcare system is seen as like, the daddy, like, your dad's going to tell you what to do and you better listen,
Oh my gosh, I can't stand that.
Right?
So thank
like
you
that
so
finger
much.
wagging. Yeah. So I just always want to encourage people, like, you're the one that counts. So
absolutely, and I'm glad that you absolutely mentioned the first thing is side effects, because nowadays, hello, everything they put on the TV and everything they prescribe you has some level of side effects. You know what I mean? So, and if you're diagnosed with certain things, it's your choice to take the medication that they give you, or switch to something else. But then you got to weigh out which side effects are worse, and which ones are you going to be actually affected by. Never mind if they prescribe you something where they say to you in your face that, oh, we still don't know how many side effects this motherfucker come out with. So it's like, word. So let me be the special one. We're not let me be the special one. And then and then it's like, and then of course I can't sue you, because along with you telling me that you don't know that you don't know how many more side effects it is, you're saying that you're not liable based on the fact that you decided to take it in the first fucking place. You know what I'm saying? So if something happened and it's really bad, I can't come back and sue you because you took a chance. You took a chance, and it is what it is. It is what it is.
That's why I love what you said, Molly, earlier about taking it upon yourself to microdose. You mentioned microdosing earlier, and the responsibility of breaking that down. So could you elaborate? We mentioned it very briefly on here. Could you talk about how microdosing has helped you aside from the mental health aspect in your life?
Yes.
In a lot of different ways. So I use we have a brand new market in Minnesota. We went adult rec like 2 years ago. We've had a medical program since 2014. But I was never a medical patient until recently. I was like, I should get my card, my girlfriend's a nurse practitioner, and she's can certify people for their cards. And I was like, let's do it. We did it on air. It was really fun. So she came on the podcast.
Nice.
We went through it. Yeah, it was really cool. Just to kind of show people that process and how it goes. But for me, I'm always going to shop with my plug. Like, I know where medicine's good.
I love when the plug get mentioned, child. Because I'm in New York, honey. I'm in New York, and yes, we got legal, and we have all type of legal popping up. But New York is a greedy motherfucker. So New York is letting you come to buy legal, but you also got to pay a heavy tax as you buy legal. And the plug don't charge no tax. You feel me? The plug don't charge no tax.
Here's the thing. And in our medical system, you don't have to pay tax because that's how it goes. And maybe I don't know if it's like that in New York, but here's the thing. Wow. The industry does not care about patients. They don't have what patients need. They're not focused on hemp, which is, where we get minor cannabinoids from. All they want to do with hemp here in Minnesota, and we have an incredible beverage industry. We're the best. I'm going to just say that right now, hands down. You can get a hemp-derived beverage anywhere. You can get it in a restaurant. You can get it at a gas station. You don't have to go to a dispensary and access a hemp beverage. So, we have a pretty good hemp industry here. But still, you don't see enough products that are hemp-derived, gummies or topicals or sublinguals or tinctures, all the things. You just don't see that. Everyone is like, what's your THC percentage? How high is it? And the flower here is now all irradiated, right? Because they have to account for the microbes that they have in their flower. So it can be good microbes, it can be bad ones, but they don't distinguish between those. You just have to get below a threshold. So now they're taking all this cannabis and they're irradiating it. So it's not really that great. So again, I'm always going to shop with my plug. Whole plant medicine is what I tout. And the other thing that I really encourage people to do is do home grow. I mean, that's the best way that you can deepen your relationship with the plant, right? And we have a pretty good home grow allowance here too. You can have 8 plants, 4 in flower, 4 in veg, and you can also care give for someone. So if there's someone that's disabled, or they can't afford to grow their own, or they live in public housing or something like that, there's a barrier. they can elect someone to grow their 8 plants for them, which is incredible.
Nice.
Incredible. So
Nice.
yeah. So
Minnesota,
those are
nice.
yeah, we're doing okay
Nice.
here. It hasn't been perfect. I think there's been a lot of issues with like the social equity applicants and how that whole rollout went. And that's really disappointing. But they have done a lot for like the tribal nations in the state too, to kind of
That's right.
get up and running. Exactly, get up and running and like get
Good.
that restorative justice back too. So the tribes, the our market really just started to kind of come online, but we're 2 years in. But the tribes were like from the gate. They were like, "Yep, we got flour. Come to the res. You know, we got what you need. You know, everything." So they've been doing
And
a
they
good job with
deserve that. They
Yes, they
definitely
do.
deserve
Yes, they
that.
do.
That's their, that's their
Yes, they do.
retribution.
100%.
Absolutely, you know what I mean. But
100%.
otherwise, Minnesota definitely sounds like they need to, step up their game. But at the end of the day, a lot of the states, I feel like, outside of the West Coast states, I feel like a lot of the states have to, they got a long way coming before they get, a perfect in the cannabis industry. Because, because like I said, for instance, in New York, it's definitely a level of regular New York greediness. They, what I'm saying? The main reason why it was allowed to even be, a legal entity is because they're like, okay, how much money can we make off these people? And at the end of the day, the plug is making way more money than the established, legalized stores, and they're absolutely upset with that, and they're doing their best to close them down. But guess what? New Yorkers don't play that. New Yorkers find another spot and open back up. Or New Yorkers open up the same spot and look at the landlord like, look here, we'll give you $300 more, and the landlord is going to do what? Take that money, because how we always say, cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, dollar bill, y'all. Hello, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's how New Yorkers get down. So the plug is still plugging no matter what the fuck you talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
it's sad to see.
It's only the West Coast that's actually doing it right. You know what I mean? For real, only West Coast is doing it right. Everybody else is just trying to catch up with everybody with the actual
Minnesota, she was just saying Minnesota had to get cracking in terms of the hemp game and what they're doing out there. That's vital information.
That's definitely different. I ain't even heard of that. Like, I didn't really, you know what I'm saying? Because in most places they just kind of keep, hemp and CBD on, on another level, separate from cannabis by itself, the flower and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, I think people even smoke CBD here.
Right.
I think as people that are educating, we need to help consumers understand the legacy market and how to honor the legacy market, because it's definitely what you see is these big MSOs, these multi-state operators sweeping through and just raping and pillaging this plant and siphoning every single dollar they can out of it, and they don't care.
And that's another thing that's happening here, because when they first started, they was talking all this big talk. They were going to give legacy all of this chances, and they were going to get first dibs and this and that. And then as soon as they started filling out applications and realized that the application fee came with not only a whole investigation, but you had to show taxes and show that you was a business owner. Like, come on now, drug dealers was what they was called before it was legal. So what kind of taxes you expect me to show you that I paid? Excuse you. What you mean I gotta show you paperwork that I ran a business? I owned the store and I paid my landlord in cash. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
The community, I think, outweighs anything else. I think what's been disheartening to see is people in spaces that don't even smoke weed, but you're there for a different green. So that's what I'm saying.
You're
So
there for the
community
money.
legal word valve, it's what we push. I'm really glad that nurses, Canada nurses like you guys exist, you, Ashley, and Mexicana, homie. Because not only that, but you have a really great presence online. Do you have any advice for us for growing our presence online?
As a podcast?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, just keep doing what you're doing. I think the more, for me, like, you know, my thing is always getting people to open up about their story with cannabis. I think that's what touches hearts and minds of people and changes stigma. I think if you can see a person that's like, hey, you know, this plant saved my kid's life, you know, and this is how, and, you know, and this is why I want to advocate for cannabis, or this is, you know, mostly for the podcast, I interview industry people, some healthcare people, sometimes patients, but mostly industry people. And I think if you can show that there's these healthy, professional, highly functioning folks out here with successful businesses, and they might be using cannabis on a daily basis, like, what more do you need? What more proof do you need that cannabis is cool? So,
and we do. That's the thing. And we do. Like, we talk to the beautiful thing is that because you know, and now that, you know, cannabis is now legal, like I said, you know, your career as a cannabis nurse, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, cannabis nurses that you follow, you know, those kind of things came out of, you know what I mean, a need in the atmosphere, you know what I mean, and all the other roles that we have talked about, all the other people with different roles that we have talked about, they all found their road because it was necessary, and it came out of cannabis being legal, you know what I mean? Like, yes, the fuckery is that there are, you know, vampires in the building that are just ready to suck all the dollars because they looking around like, hold up, yes, we realize that a lot of you motherfuckers like weed, so no, we wanna get rich off of your motherfucking habits. Yes, bitch. We don't give a no. We don't care. We don't like weed. We don't care anything about weed, but we absolutely like the money that you spend on weed. And if we can get some of that motherfucking money, yes, we want to be vampires in the building. So yes, it is a bad thing that these vampires exist. But amongst these vampires is also good people that have created their own lanes, such as us, that have created their own lanes within this industry, this legal industry, and is definitely trying to spread our wings within this industry. And so anybody that we talk to on here, we definitely let the people know, no, support what they're doing. Support what we're doing, support what they're doing, because at the end of the day, that's what we created this space for. We created this space so they can feel comfortable talking about what they, you know what I'm saying, what they've gone through, what, you know what I'm saying, what brought them to, you know what I'm saying, being what you call it? Yes, subscribe. Definitely subscribe to her YouTube channel. Yes, definitely subscribe to her YouTube channel.
Don't give you the information.
And yes, everybody that's been on here, you know what I mean? But everybody that's been on here, we definitely encourage that everybody support their businesses and support their appearance here. And yes, you automatically become part of our family, because anything that goes on with you going forward and you want to come back and talk about it, we damn sure, all you got to do is hit us up in the email, hit us up in the inbox, and you can come right back through, because that's the space that we build. We build this space for not only for us, but for anybody that comes on here to talk about their business and talk about their life, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, this is an important avenue in the space of marijuana. This is a healing space in the space of marijuana, and we absolutely needed. It's absolutely needed.
Always a good love. Empowering yourselves as well.
I think it's important for us to lift each other up as women because we already have an
Facts.
uphill battle. We already have an uphill battle in cannabis, like going up against all these cannabis. You know what I mean? Like we got to stick together. We got to share resources. We have to support each other. We have to let go of all that petty bullshit, backstabby shit. Like we're in it to win it, girls. So let's stick together.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, the men in the industry, they are the main ones that be a part of the vampire team. You know what I'm saying? I myself have not met any women in the cannabis industry that are part of the vampire team. We all are about you know what I'm saying, rising and glowing, and you know what I'm saying, and pulling each other up as we, you know what I'm saying, if one steps up and we see one behind us, we grabbing her arm and saying, come on, girl, let's go. You know what I mean? So it be the men. It be the men. It definitely be the men.
Shout out to our special guest, Molly Taylor, the first art man. Come on now, shout out to our producers. We love you guys so much. You make us look very professional around here. Shout out to Mr. Dr. Hollywood. We love you. We appreciate
and
you.
Definitely, these ain't the men that we talk about that's trying to outshine. These are the men that are making us shine. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. So, and yes, thank you, Molly. We absolutely love and love you, and glad that you took the time out to be on the show. And like I said, you are part of the family. As soon as anything happened that you want to update us on, all you got to do is hit us up. And we'll bring you right back.
We ain't get into your coochie enough. Next time we're gonna get all up in that booty hole, girl.
I'm not good at twerking. Don't make me do that.
Oh my God, no. But no, and we also got to make sure. Oh, and we also got to make sure, let the people know that yes, next up next week is my girl Bougie Stoner. That's another big entity in the business of not only elevation, just elevating clothes, elevating edibles, all kind of things, and we gonna get all in her business. She's been on the show before, so and she gonna be back next week. So we looking forward to that. First of all, season 11. Let me tell you something. Season 11 is all the thing. So every Sunday, 7 p.m. be in the building. Every Sunday, be in the building, 7 p.m.
Subscribe to your mama, tell your cousins, everybody, baby.
Streaming on Roku TV and all that. Yes, indeed. And of course, Molly, thank you for being on the show. And of course, hit our Cash App if you want to.
Hit that Cash App. Hit that Cash App. Run that up. Run that up.
Definitely check out our website. Buy our merch. Definitely go to motherfucking Rustic Smokes and get our rolling papers up in Brooklyn. Yes, we got our rolling papers.
Come on, let's get it. Hallelujah.
And yes. All right, Kai Storm in the building, Motherhood Sex Marijuana in the building, Motherhood Sex Marijuana Rolling Papers in the building. Currently located at Rustic Smokes here in the Brook of the Lynn. You can come and get your absolutely, yeah. Motherhood Sex Marijuana Rolling Papers right here. As you can see, we got hemp papers, we got colorful tips, and we got a crushing area. Yes, get yours now.
You know what's so funny? Me and the other girl work here.
And I came in, and then I came back and talked to Franz. So it was like those are the only 2 times I met her. So yes, indeed. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being in the building. Are we done, or is it time to roll?
Storm in the building. Motherhood Sex Marijuana in the building.
Why are you talking like that on the YouTube? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Loopy, please. I tell you, Loopy. I love you,
Mom. What's going on? What's happening? Who in the building? We still the illest with the sickest. Ain't no sickness, super healthy. Like Cheech and Chong, hit a bong, got some joints too. MSM, paper slow burn, greener than lawn. We be on YouTube, blasting our own theme song. We been gone against the grind. Like gluten-free cupcakes for PTA Zoom. We champions. Highlighting stars like we coming out the dark. Bring forth some light. We too grown to fight inside. Plus we be high and raising kids and our vibes. Cats have lost their lives in the plight to find, in the peace inside. Our minds open like wide, receive downloads from on high. Kai Storm and Ruby Dog, who else is on our mind? Fries, Maya Moni with the tri vibes, let's get it. Another season cheese and no gold grill needed. Oh, greasy grins, we on the grind. The perfect reason, semen to take flight. Motherhood, sex, marijuana is on the ride. Motherhood, sex, marijuana is on the rise. Motherhood, sex, marijuana is on the rise. You know what? Can we get all the sexy lesbians to come up in front?
Who me?
Come on, queens.
Come on,
show them how we do it. Yeah.
This is for the mothers, they some cold motherfuckers. Though they're giving game and knowledge, there could never be another. Now unwind, let's sip wine and confide in one another. Sex, motherhood, and marijuana, love them like no other. They the ones that speak the truth, on the party in the booth. And they so crazy, home my baby, have me laughing on the daily. They the only few I know that never ever tried to play me. I'm still using gems that they gave me with my lady. Home my baby, this is crazy. These beautiful ladies, always leave you smiling, never shady. Moaning by your root, we're going crazy in the booth. I gotta do it for them, they give love, I give it too. It's like this, bitch, it's like that. MSM, they cross the map and they be breaking shit down them. I ain't never heard of that. Nigga, you ain't watched it. You how to touch, you hella whack, and I'm only speaking facts. So sit back and roll a J and let them take the stress away.
It's true, they could take you out this world if they want it. I trust my mom, I know that she will always get me potent. Have I sold the flowers cause she deserves to smell them. And if you touch my mama the wrong way, I have to snuff them. Cause she still get down, let's be real, that's why I'm here. And if no one will have your best interest, she come with care. And we got two with cotton roots, so got a chair. I let them know they're smoking, add some flavor to your ear. This for the mothers, this for the mothers. This for the mothers of sex and marijuana, This for the mothers, this for the mothers. This for the mothers of sex and marijuana, MSM, This for the mothers, this for the mothers. This for the mothers of sex and marijuana, This for the mothers, this for the mothers. This for the mothers of sex and marijuana, MSM, MSM,